Hi everybody, AJ here, trying something new. So for most of Season 8, I've been finding most of these episodes to be rather dull and boring. So much so, I didn't even want to review them because I wasn't sure if I could salvage or make anything good out of it, and would just go on and on about what I changed. So I decided just to skip the review part and say how I'd rewrite the episode to make it more appealing. With this week's episode, Granies Gone Wild being the final straw. Now don't get me wrong, I didn't think this was a bad episode. Heck, it was the first episode this season I actually had fun with, or at least would gladly watch again. However, the way it came across just left a lot to be desired. While I can see how people liked it, I felt like it had potential to be a great episode, but just ended up as okay with a confusing and over-the-top character motivations. So, what would I have done better if I had a chance to write this episode? For starters, the setup and first few minutes weren't so bad. A little on the nose exposition, but it gets it out of the way, and even made the Wonderbolts look a little good for a change. They don't mock Rainbow Dash for not knowing about the plot device, the Blue Yonder, and it's not unbelievable that Rainbow Dash has never heard about the ride before. The only part I might change was Rainbow saying she needed Applejack to cover her classes to go to the final weekend. From how it came across, it just makes the school feel like a chore to the rest of the main six rather than something they want to do in their free time when they all already have careers, I might add. We start to make real changes after the first commercial. Instead of Applejack installing feelings to Rainbow Dash to be careful with the Grannies, she instead encourages Dash to spend time with them, saying something along the lines of learning, respecting, or relating to her elders, only to have Rainbow Dash shrug her off, hyper-focused on the roller coaster. Now, I know a lot of people like Rainbow Dash being so caring of these Grannies, but to me personally, it just felt so off-putting and out of character, and even Granny Smith pointed out in the episode. Once in the air, we receive a hint of the resolution and moral when one of the girls begins to tell one of her boring stories. Rainbow Dash is, of course, bored at first, but then the gal's story starts to sound interesting, and Rainbow Dash starts to get invested. However, before the story is finished, they arrive in Las Pegasus, and Rainbow Dash's attention is once again focused on the Blue Yonder. She wants to go there first, but is reminded by Granny Smith of her agreement to this trip, and has to at least help them check into their room, as well as chaperone for a few other activities first. Rainbow Dash groans until she realizes she'll still have time to ride the Blue Yonder later that night. With this as a conflict, Rainbow Dash and the Golden Girls get checked in, and at first, it's torture for her. But as she spends more and more time with them, the more she begins to learn to start to admire the old gals, how they met, became friends, how their yearly trips began, and even start to have fun with their activities. That is, until they get to their last activity they have to do together before Rainbow Dash can ride the Blue Yonder. However, before they can split, we meet the magicians who recognize the Golden Girls and share with Dash a flashback story where we hear the last from earlier in the blimp, which has Rainbow Dash grinning ear to ear with how awesome it is. As such, the magicians offer them all to be in the magic show, Rainbow Dash included, before Dash realizes with the time and looking at the ride's line, she has to choose the magic show or risk missing a chance to ride the Blue Yonder at all. Reluctantly, and to the Golden Girl's dismay, she chooses the coaster. We then cut to Rainbow Dash waiting in line, sad and bored. She looks ahead of the line to see ponies with their families having a good time just by spending it together. It is in this moment she has a realization and, gritting her teeth, she zips out of line, to the delight of the pony behind her, to go to the magic show instead, and just in time to be a part of it. We then have a heartfelt moment with Rainbow Dash and the Golden Girls as the magic show proves to be a thrill and they all have a good time. However, once it's over and the curtain closes, Rainbow Dash starts to feel bad for missing her coaster ride, but insists to the girls that it was worth it. However, the magicians, grateful for their participation, get them all VIP passes to have the very last ride on the Blue Yonder. The episode then ends exactly as it did in the original, with Rainbow Dash and the Golden Girls flying home, reflecting on how the rest of the weekend went, to which they offer Rainbow Dash to be an honorary member of the Golden Girls as they ride off into the sunset. As such, the episode is now less about Rainbow being overly protective and paranoid, to her learning the value of both patience and what our elders can teach us, instead of just brushing them off. Though, do you honestly think this was a better option? Or do you have a way that this could have been made a lot better with her learning from them? Well, if you think so, let me know, and I thank you very much for watching.